Hello, and welcome back once again to this special birthday edition of Infinite Jeff. Yes, Infinite Jeff is 1 year old today. This is quite an occasion for me. I didn't know if I'd make it this far. Hopefully, we get to that almost 3 year mark, but let us celebrate the Infinite Jeff's first birthday. Na 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 na. And you smell like one too. Hey, all right. So 1 year. This will be a year since the first one dropped, and we're on page 371. So if we start on page 3. Yeah, we're ahead a couple of days, but that's okay. It's all right. I don't care. It is what it is. This is page 371. Here we go. Also, to tell the truth, uses the phrase drag it along rather than bring it along, which Gately wisely doesn't dwell over. And even to school with her, and softball practice, and the hairdressers, and campfire girls, etc., where at whatever place she's dragged it along to, it would lie in a heap, drooling and incontinent under exquisite mother-bought fashions specially altered for atrophy and top-shelf Lancome cosmetics that looked just lurid on it, and with only the whites of its eyes showing, with fluid dribbling from its mouth and elsewhere, and making unspeakable gurgly noises, completely pale and moist and stagnant. And then, when the adopted daughter, now speaking, turned 15, the rabidly Catholic wacko foster mother even announced that okay, now that the adopted daughter was 15, she could go out on dates, but only as long as it got to come along too. In other words, that the only dates the 15-year-old adopted daughter could go out on were double dates with it and whatever sub-mammalian escort the speaker could root up for it. And how this sort of stuff went on, and how the nightmarishness of its continual pale, soggy, ubiquitous... I'm sorry, Heather, this is kind of gross writing, but... merely we roll along. Soggy ubiquitousness in her young life would alone be more than sufficient to cause and explain the speaker's later drug addiction, she feels. But that it also happened so that the foster family's quiet, smiling patriarch, who worked 0900 to 2100 hours as a claims processor for Aetna, it turned out that the cheerful, smiling foster father actually made the wacko foster mother look like a Doric column of stability by comparison, because there turned out to be things about the biological daughter's utter paralytic pliability and catatonic inability to make anything except unspeakable gurgly noises that the smiling father found greatly to a certain very sick advantage. The speaker says she has trouble openly discussing. Still, even at 31 months sober in AA, being as yet still so retroactively wounded and hurting from it, but so in some that she'd been ultimately forced to run away from the adopted foster Saugus home, and so become a naked eye stripper, and so become a raging dope fiend, not, as in so many ununique cases, because she had been incestuously diddled, but because she'd been abusively forced to share a bedroom with a drooling invertebrate who by 14 was itself getting incestuously diddled on a nightly basis by a smiling biological claims processor of her father who, the speaker pauses to summon courage, who apparently liked to pretend it was Raquel Welch, the former cellular sex goddess of the father's glandular heyday, and he even called it Raquel in moments of incestuous extremity, and how the New England summer the speaker turned 15 and had to start dragging it along on double dates, and then having to make sure to drag it back home again by 2300 hours. So it had plenty of time to be incestuously diddled. That summer the smiling quiet foster father even had found somewhere a cheesy rubber Raquel Welch full head pull-on mask with hair, and would now nightly come in the dark and lift its limp, soft head up and struggle and lug to get the mask on, and the relevant holes aligned for air. And then that is the end of page 371. Hate reading this kind of shit, but this is the path I chose, so sorry to my listeners. This is pretty gross, but it's also a celebration here at Infinite Jeff Industries. 1 year. February 23rd, 2020 is when we started this journey. And now we're 1 year in. We're going to go at least another year. We won't make it to year 3 unless I find some way to extend the project, but we're going to come pretty close. So anyway, I will see you tomorrow, and we'll have a great day, and it's going to be more gross, incestuous diddling. So I apologize again. So have a good night.